time to get started. Now, before I start, so this is the training for like social media misinformation monitoring and that sort of thing. Very important, especially this election. There seems to be all sorts of misinformation floating around. So it's really important for us to be able to keep track of it and make sure that we are informing people. Hopefully you guys have heard, we've been on 3 radio stations here in Lexington each Monday talking about some of the stuff we're hearing while we're working with volunteers or while we're out talking to voters, that sort of thing. But a lot of this misinformation is floating around on social media, and so we want to sort of train people on how to deal with that and help us flag it so that we can stop the spread and most importantly give accurate information. Before I do that though, one of the big things we're doing is we have started passing out flyers. We targeted 50 precincts that have really low average voter turnout over the last several elections. And we want to just make it easier for them to vote. So we have, I don't know if you've seen it or not, if you go to the LexVote website, we have just a little chat bot that you can talk to. It asks you simple questions like, did you request a mail-in ballot? Yes or no. So you can talk with it about voting in person. And so makes it really easy. It's a step-by-step process, how to help you vote, make sure that there's nothing you're missing. And so we're passing out cards that have a little QR link to that chat bot to these precincts. We're also, giving them some basic information to help them just to make it really easy. And that will be the thing where probably we would need the most help. Social media monitoring is something, if anybody wants to do it actively, to spend an hour, 2 hours each day and search through their social media feeds, that's great. CivicLex and LexVote, we're focused here in Fayette County, so there's a good chance that with enough volunteers, misinformation will just organically float through our feeds and we'll be able to catch it. If it doesn't, then this training, there's a good bit in this training about how to find it. But one thing we really would love help with is doing the flyering. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. You can do about 100 houses or so in an hour. At least that's so far the pace that I've been able to cover it with. And so you can email me, mattyoung@uky.edu. We also have volunteer forms that I think at least everyone live in this training has filled out. And just let us know if you're willing to do flyering. You can do, you can do as much or as little as you want. If you feel like taking on a few hundred like me, that's great. If you just want to spend an hour or so, half hour or so, and do 50 or something, that's also great. Every bit helps. We just want to make sure everybody can vote. So with that, I will get started, move into the training. So this today is about social media monitoring. Now, this is really important for us. It's really easy to see misinformation on this. I'm going to skip Zoom guidelines. That's me. I'm the 2020 elections fellow for CivicLex, so I'm helping out with all this, the misinformation and the voter education and the voter outreach, that sort of thing. mattyoung@uky.edu is my direct email address. I'm happy to help any way I can. If you have questions, if you have concerns, anything like that, just email me directly. So for tonight, the big thing, I'm going to skip that agenda slide because the big thing that we're going to do is just monitoring social media, and also equally as importantly is reporting, letting us know when you find something that you think needs to be flagged. Now, we are non-political, nonpartisan. We don't work for or on behalf of any political party or any candidate. That's not our concern. If you see something on social media that says, this particular candidate, I don't know, loves to beat horses, That's sad. But if some false information like that is not something that we are really working with. If you want to flag it for us, that's fine. We can alert the candidates about it, but that's not something we will directly address. What we are working on, as you can see on this slide, are 3 key sections of voter suppression, misinformation, and disinformation. So voter suppression is really the big teller for voter suppression is anything that tries to get someone to stay home, to not vote. This can be by trying to convince somebody that there's a lot of fraud in the election, trying to convince somebody that their vote won't be counted, that sort of thing. Misinformation is just somebody, maybe they're trying to help, and they're just not quite correct. A great example of misinformation I came across last week, talked about it on the radio this morning. I heard from some people that you have, if you're voting by mail, you have to be really careful to put 2 stamps on your ballot. Ballots are heavier than normal mail, so you got to have 2 stamps on there, or else it won't get sent. I think that person was genuinely trying to help when they gave that information, but it's not correct information. The Secretary of State and the governor decided that the state would pay for all of the postage for mail-in ballots. So if you're sending it back to the county clerk, you don't need any stamps at all. So that's sort of an example of misinformation. I think the person was trying to help, and maybe they just didn't quite have all the right information. Disinformation, on the other hand, is where somebody it's usually a bad actor, and they are trying to give people bad information. They're trying to confuse people. And there's an example you might have heard. There were some news stories that Russia and Iran each got a hold of some voter rolls. I don't know the extent of that hack. I'm not sure whether Kentucky was involved or not, but I've heard some stories, talked to a couple of people who say they have friends that were getting emails that says your voter registration has been canceled. And this would be both categorized as voter suppression and disinformation. This is false, and it is intentionally false, and they are attempting to suppress the vote by doing that. That is not something you would never get an email from the Secretary of State telling you that. Anything that happens like that would come through the Postal Service. It would have to be an official mailer through the Postal Service from the county clerk or the Secretary of State. So that sort of thing. That's something we found. If anybody asks you about that, just tell them to ignore the email, because that's not going to come through email if something like that happens. So disinformation is the thing that is really getting most attention. That's when you listen to when you talk to your friends, when you listen to the news. These are the sorts of things that people are really worried about. How is Russia? How is China? How is Iran? How is North Korea going to try to manipulate this election? It's all over the place. It's everywhere. It's called a global infodemic in a lot of places. There are, even fake newspapers being started here in the United States to try to, make fake news look legitimate, to try to trick people. And it can have a pretty big effect. Something that Common Cause, a group that it's a sort of a national voter misinformation group that we work with. They've found that half of voters under age 35 don't have the resources or knowledge that they need to be able to vote in November. Sorry, I was just checking for questions. I said I'd do it after every slide. Here I am on slide 8 and haven't done it. That minority voters especially are a lot more likely than white Americans to not have correct voting information, or to not know where to vote, or to miss registration deadlines, those sorts of things. And younger voters who are not terribly experienced in elections, they're not certain how they work. Maybe they think the Secretary of State would cancel your voter registration and email you about it because they haven't voted very often. They might also be particularly prone or susceptible to mis and disinformation. Um, a lot of this spreads through social media platforms. You know, social media platforms is where you find people that agree with you. You find people that think the same way you do, and so a lot of them, they're people who think that there might be a lot of fraud are going to spread stories about that. So election protection, it's the Common Cause, the group we've worked with. They've done a whole lot of this mis and disinformation, and they're who we're working with. And so we've got a lot of experience behind this, and I think that we're going to be able to make a big impact. We have already so far, just here in Fayette County, we've already found several instances of misinformation, and we have gotten correct information for it. Hopefully we're going to be making a difference, and we're happy that you guys are trying to help us with that. So thank you for jumping on. So social media monitoring. The goals are, we want to increase voter education, and help solve problems. So the way that we're going to do that is we flag misinformation and disinformation, and we try to correct it by helping. A lot of people don't realize when they're just spreading false information. I didn't actually think that was true until I really started working with people. And there are a lot of people that spread something false out of purely good intent, and they are happy when they're corrected. So hopefully that's the case while we are monitoring social media until the election. So 866 Our Vote is the national hotline for Common Cause, the group we're working with. They keep track of all sorts of voting misinformation. If you want to report to Common Cause, 866 Our Vote is a good place to do it. Now, this hotline is probably most useful for on election day if you see voter intimidation or something that's not right at the polls. Maybe somebody's claiming that you're not allowed to vote, the voting machine's all closed down, that sort of thing. This is a great place to call because they have a team of lawyers that can get on it quickly and try to make sure that every vote counts and that everything runs smoothly. Now, for misinformation and disinformation, hopefully you guys will contact us at CivicLex, and hopefully even me directly, and we can get this help you get this taken care of. So what we're going to cover today is the different types of information, and how to find it and what to do when you find it. So the first step is trying to find content. There's a lot of stuff out there that we can't find because it's private, but if it's private like that, then a lot of other people also can't find it. What's really important is getting a whole team of people doing this, because if you might not be able to see something, there may be somebody else in the network that we have of volunteers who is able to see something that you're not. So if we get a team doing this, we can hopefully flag any of the serious misinformation that we might encounter here in Fayette County. So the easiest way to do this is to search through your platforms. You can, Facebook has the search bar, and you can, with your search terms, you can look for, specific phrases, specific, hashtags or anything like that, that might be associated with voting. Anything as you come across it. Excuse me. You can search for voter suppression, or search for voting lies, those sorts of things, and you might be able to find some good content. So be proactive. Also, Facebook groups are a great place to find. I shouldn't say great place to find misinformation. It's a great way to be proactive in discovering misinformation. Because like the example I mentioned earlier, where the lady had said that you need to have 2 stamps on your mail-in ballot. Someone in a Facebook group, someone I don't know, like Lexington Rugby Dads or something like that, might be someone might be sharing that to try to be helpful. And if it's incorrect, if you're in that group, they're more likely to be really friendly to you because you're in the same group together, and you can correct them, and you can help make sure that everybody has the correct information. Same thing, you can also search through Twitter. There are several different searching tools. Now, I guess I'll kind of press pause here. I don't want to keep you guys all night long, but just wanted to ask, does everybody know how, are you aware of how to search on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, anything like that? I'll give it a minute. If anybody's not, just say something in the comments and or in the chat, and I'll do a demonstration for you. Awesome. Okay. Looks like everybody knows how to do searches. That's great. So it's really, for anybody who might be watching this as a recording, it's really simple. There are just little search boxes in Facebook and Twitter, and you can just click on them and type in something almost like you would with Google. Type in something like voter suppression, or how do I vote, or I can't vote, something like that. And it can pull up posts that you can see, and if you see any misinformation, you can flag it. Not same thing. All of your social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, are usually the three most commonly used, but they're not the only ones. So here's a little example. You click on the little magnifying glass, and you can type in vote by mail, common cause. You can type in whatever it is that you're looking for. You can use hashtags. You can just search the words and find anything that might be misinformation. Nextdoor also works. This is similar to Facebook groups. People on here are usually trying to be helpful, trying to make sure that their neighbors are ready to vote. And if they're wrong, it's quite often just an honest mistake. So if you're on Nextdoor, watch out for misinformation on there as well. If you like Reddit, if you're on Reddit very often, there could be some misinformation on there as well. Reddit is not likely to have quite as much. At CivicLex, we're really focusing just on here in Fayette County, and there's not huge subreddits for Lexington or Fayette County, so might not have very much on there. But if you're on there, keep an eye out for it. WhatsApp, TikTok, plenty of places. Anywhere you see misinformation, we want to know about it. So I'm going to pause for about 30 seconds. If anybody has any questions, just type in the chat. Whenever I pause, I always feel like I wait 30 seconds. It feels like it takes 10 minutes for 30 seconds to get by. All right, I don't see any questions, so I'm going to keep going. So the big question is, what kind of content is it? What are we looking at? And I talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but I want to get a little bit more detailed. So partisan attack or non-voter related disinformation. And so this again is, here's Ben Shapiro saying Joe Biden's basically alive. He has early onset dementia. Or another post from We Are Change Orlando, talks about how dangerous it might be to walk around in public and that sort of thing. These are not quite what we're worried about. Things like this may or may not be true. Certainly it doesn't seem like there's any evidence that Joe Biden would have early stages of dementia. But even if that's not true, that's not necessarily what we're worried about. At CivicLex, we are really worried about just making sure that people have correct voting information. If you feel like getting into a Facebook argument about Joe Biden and dementia, I can't stop you. But at CivicLex, we can't really offer you the resources to help with something like that, because that's not what we're about. So at least from the perspective of CivicLex, we ignore this because it's someone else's job. If you send it to us, if you flag it and let us know, most likely we will just forward it to the candidates and we won't address it. That's not something that we are trying to look at. Something that we really want to look at, is this a voter related problem or question? And on Twitter, there's, here's an example, somebody saying they couldn't vote. Maybe there are long lines, pandemic related issues, ballot drop box issues, any issue about voting problems, why somebody could or could not actually vote. If you see anything, if you see a Facebook post, somebody says, well, I tried to vote today and, I tried to go early voting and I was turned away by the county clerk because of, whatever reason. That's something we would want to know about. If they were turned away incorrectly, then we would want to help them with that. In most elections, you have to have a photo ID to vote. That is not correct this election, because the governor and secretary of state didn't want to force people into courthouses during a pandemic to get a photo ID. There is an exception to that. You can present a non-photo ID and fill out an affidavit and still vote. So things like that. That's something we're looking for. And we can help provide corrected information. Now, the from trusted sources, something that I want to point out to everybody, on our website, lex.vote, it's for the LexVote Coalition. You can, up top, you can go to Election Essentials, Election Myths versus Facts, or just lex.vote/misinfo. Here we have listed a bunch of election myths and a lot more details about what is or is not true. If you want to give someone the correct information, take a look at this website. We have spent a good deal of time and quite a bit of effort going through, and whenever we find misinformation, we highlight it. Some of these we have just put on in the last couple of days, and we have a few more that we can still put on, and we're going to. And if you find it and flag it, and it's something that we see that is a problem we need to address, we're going to put it on here as well. So this is a trusted site. I encourage you to share this whenever you're trying to help somebody find the correct information. And so here's sort of the easy way to do it. I think too often online, it's sort of the default online is to yell at people. Not saying that necessarily that's what we do or what you do, but often things sort of spiral. And so something that Common Cause has worked on is just this sort of template to help answer misinformation. So what you might say is I'll just read through this. Hi, Linda, I'm a volunteer with Vote Lex. Totally understand how confusing absentee voting can be. To answer your question, while you requested an absentee ballot, you can still go to the polls and vote in person. Your absentee ballot will be set aside and not counted. You can find more information at lex.vote/misinfo. I misspelled lex.vote. I'm gonna have to fix that. Or by calling 866-RVOTE. Now that's the Common Cause hotline. And then reinforce the importance of voting is also very important. Now this also, the correct information, that is not correct for Kentucky. I'm gonna have to change that as well. So in Kentucky, if you have requested a mail-in ballot and you have already received that ballot, you cannot go to the polls and vote. If by Wednesday, the 28th, you have not received your ballot, you might be able to vote at the polls. You have to track your ballot, and if it shows it is not received, you can vote in person. If you track your ballot and it shows it has been received, but you don't have it, then what we at LexVote, our advice is to contact the county clerk right away, because if it shows as delivered in the tracking, but you don't have it, you would not be able to vote in person. You'd actually have to go through like a missing ballot sort of protocol. And so our advice would be to contact the county clerk right away. So when in doubt, the Election Protection Hotline, and this is the national hotline for Common Cause. 866 our vote is in English. For any non-English speakers, there are also other hotlines. You can jot those down if you would like. I'll correct those couple of errors in this slide, maybe another error too if I find them, and I'll send out this slide to you guys as well, so that you can have this information. So this would take you to the National Election Protection Hotline. You can also just get us involved with it, and we can get the correct information out as well. Now, the next section of content is misinformation, and this already, like I said, is somebody who might have meant well. Maybe they were, meant well and said something by mistake, or just wasn't quite correct. We want to know about that so that we can provide the correct information. We want to update our misinformation, myth versus facts for election. We want to update this as much as we can, provide as many details as we can to answer the question. You can see from something as general as mail-in ballots are safe and are not safe and are prone to fraud. We want to make sure that we have all of the information on there. To something as specific as a photo ID is required to vote. Not necessarily in this election. So let us know. We want to update that and keep sort of a central area for, to have all the correct answers. So, this is New Hampshire specific from the Common Cause found. But if you see something like this in Kentucky, you can vote from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you see something like that, let us know. In Kentucky, voting day, the polls are open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So if you see anything different, flag it, let us know. That's misinformation, and we will help correct it. You can also, that template to respond, that we had earlier. Hi, I'm a volunteer with LexVote. Just wanted to let you know that the polls are actually going to be open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Thank you so much for caring about the vote. We know this is so important, that sort of thing. Provide the correct information that way. Same sort of template. Link to trusted sources. Our website is a great one, and the information can be corrected. Now, if somebody does not, if you reach out and try to correct the information for somebody and they say, oh yeah, I'm not worried about that, I don't care, I'm not changing it, at that point it becomes disinformation. That's sort of when we would assume that maybe the person who has posted that is has some nefarious intent, that maybe they're trying to get people to not vote. So that's when it becomes disinformation. And really what's most important with this, thing that I sort of associate disinformation with quite often is like trolling. And it's quite often the best thing to do is just ignore it. Flag it for us, but if it's somebody who is purposely trying to lie and you've tried to correct it and they've said, I don't care, you're wrong, just move on. Don't get in a fight with them. There's just it sort of helps things spread. The more attention that gets, the more it's likely to spread. So the best thing is just not engage it. So if you see something like this, that Democrats get it to vote on a different day than Republicans, or that Hillary Clinton voters, obviously this is from 2016, but Hillary Clinton voters get to vote by text and Donald Trump voters don't. If you provide the correct information and they are unwilling to update their posts, then it's just disinformation. Flag it for us, let us know, and just don't engage. We don't want to give them the platform. We don't want to give them attention, that sort of thing. Discrediting vote by mail is something we've seen a lot of. There are hundreds of academic studies and state-level investigations across the country into voting by mail. It is as safe as it has ever been. It's just very few instances of fraud in voting by mail. This is something that has been going on. Vote by mail is something that's been going on every year for generations. There's just more of it because we have a pandemic this year. So if you see something like this, let us know. This is one of the subjects we've already covered on the fact versus myth website for LexVote. Now, voter intimidation, if you see this at the polls, certainly flag it, and we want to know, but this is where it would be very important to call the 866-R-VOTE, the national hotline for common cause. They can, if something that lawyers and attorneys need to be involved in, they can do that really quickly. They have more legal resources than we do at the LexVote Coalition. So certainly, if you see something like this, I would call 866-R-VOTE. Now, if you just see social media posts about it, like this one right here from Keep Calm and Return Fire says, ICE at the polls, immigrations and customs enforcement are at the polls, making citizens arrest too. We want to know about that. That's something, if you see a social media post about it, let us know. Voter intimidation is illegal. It is not, this sort of thing is not allowed to happen at the polls. So if you see it, let us know. But if you're actually at the polls and you see, in North Carolina for early voting, there were some people in the back of their pickup trucks waving rebel flags and holding assault rifles. If you see something like that, we would encourage you to call 866-R-VOTE. If these people are, certainly if they're being threatening, we would encourage you to try to get law enforcement involved in the situation. Don't try to escalate the situation. Don't try to start a fight. This sort of thing is more about, Megan will have a training on election helpers that I hope everybody will also watch. That this sort of thing more falls into the election helpers training. But, for our purposes on social media, if you see something like, this voter intimidation saying that immigrations and customs enforcement is at the polls, let us know. We want to know about that. That's something that we can address. And if it happens on election day at the polls, that's where our election helper training will apply. And our Megan's wonderful. She'll help you guys with that out. I believe tomorrow night is the training. So stuff like this is also voter suppression, where, depressing voter turnout. This picture was posted by an account called Blacktivist. It's run by Russia's Internet Research Agency, which is the foreign actor responsible for hacking in the 2016 election. So this is trying to get minorities not to vote, make them think their vote won't count. If you see something like this, please flag it and let us know. Are there any, I'll just want to pause right now and just look at the chat and see, are there any examples of misinformation that you guys have seen so far before this training that you want us to know about? I'll pause again for 30 seconds here and wait for, you can type into the chat. I'm going to grab a drink of water. I'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, I'm back. So I don't see any examples of misinformation in the chat, and that's great. I actually love that. So far, I also haven't seen a lot of instances of misinformation that are particular to us here in Fayette County. There have been plenty of national level instances of misinformation, but for the elections here in Fayette County, I haven't seen a lot. So, and it actually is also encouraging that everybody attending this has also not seen it. So that's excellent. So this, just goes back to, if you see the disinformation, if you see somebody intentionally trying to, be harmful to voters or to depress turnout or intimidate voters, Don't amplify it. Don't engage with them. Like I said, it gives them a platform that they just shouldn't have. The best thing to do is to ignore it. Well, I think this is kind of what I've already covered. The amplification part, I have not. The more you interact with, yell with, argue with somebody who might be spreading disinformation, the more likely it is to pop up on someone else's feed because it has high levels of interaction. And Facebook's algorithm might say, "Ooh, hey, people are interacting with this. We want everyone to interact." So it might be more likely to pop up on someone else's feed. So that's a big important reason why we don't want to engage. So proactive content is the best antidote for this. That the CivicLex myth versus truth site is what I would recommend. The one that we've set up here. This misinformation, it's excellent. We've talked with county clerks, with the state board of elections. We've made sure that we've gotten all the details we can on here. So this is a great place to be proactive, to use information to correct if somebody might be incorrect about something. So I'll pause again here. I just paused a minute ago, but I'll pause again to see if there are any questions. 10 or 15 seconds this time. All right, didn't have any questions in the chat box, so I will keep going. I'm enjoying these breaks. My throat's getting dry. I went from teaching stats class to this presentation, so I'm tired of talking. My throat is tired of talking. So you've heard me say a whole lot of times throughout this presentation, flag it for us, let us know, that sort of thing. Several easy ways to do that. This incident form is the easiest way to do it. So like I mentioned, I'll send all of you this slideshow so that you can have it. So, perhaps you're with an organization that might benefit from this. You can share this with them as well. Now, this is, you click on it and it takes you straight to this link. Hopefully you guys will, sort of say bookmark this link. So when you see something, we want your name, the date that you saw it. Obviously you're in Kentucky. It'll also ask you for whatever county you're in once you tell it you're here in Kentucky, and the type of information. So misinformation, disinformation, voter assistance, maybe something wrong at the polls, really long line at the polls, that sort of thing. Just tell us what kind it is. Now when you fill this out, it's going to come to me. So I'll be able to review everything. So if you're not quite sure what it is, don't worry. Just put something in there. You have to answer something. You can answer other if you're not quite sure what it is. I'll review all of this, and I'll make sure, I'll go through it and figure out what the best thing is to do. So does this issue require follow-up? You can, I'll review it. If you're not sure what to put, you can just put maybe. If, yes, this is time sensitive, it might be something like, at the Leestown voting center, they told us all the machines are broken and we can't vote anymore. That would be time sensitive. That's something we'd have to get addressed very quickly. But a lot of it might just be, election protection staff are on the ground. Most of it, I don't think we need to address on the ground. Most of it might just be online. But if you're not sure what to put, just put anything. Like I said, I will be reviewing all of this. If there's a link, put a link. Now, we really would love for you guys to take a snapshot so we can see what it is. And maybe, why you think it's misinformation in this comment. If you feel like it, if you think it's self-explanatory, doesn't need comments, that's fine. But really, we would love to see a screenshot of it, and then you can submit. And that's what this form does. If you don't have time to fill out the form real quick, elections@civiclex.org is the email address. It will come to the same place that this filled out form would come to. You can also directly my email address, mattyoung@uky.edu. You can just email us real quick, maybe a link, a screenshot if you can, and say, hey, found this. And that's flagging it. That brings it to our attention. We can help correct it. I can respond to you with the correct information, so that you can try to politely engage and fix the misinformation. So how to take a screenshot. Hopefully everybody knows how to take a screenshot. You can, if you're watching this training and you don't know how, just pause this training real quick and Google it. But here's some quick and easy commands for how to take a screenshot on Windows PCs, on Macs, and on iPad or iPhone. Maybe you're on an Android phone or like a Chromebook computer. Little bit different ways to do that, but you can figure it out pretty quickly by Googling. I can demonstrate for people if they would like. So I'm going to pause for just about 10 seconds. If anybody does not know how to take a screenshot, just let me know in the chat and I'll demonstrate it. All right, looks like everybody knows how to take a screenshot. So anybody who might be watching this recorded, here's the 3 probably most used devices, instructions for it. You can also Google if you don't have one of these types of devices, and if you don't have a screenshot, if you just can't get one, that's okay. We still want to know about it, but it's certainly really helpful for us if we do have a screenshot. So that's completing the incident form. That's all the steps to take for the 3 types of information that we're worried about. Again, we're not particularly worried about partisan attacks. If you want to flag that, that's great, and we can forward it on to the candidates. So practice. This is something, if we were in a live session, this is something we might be able to do, but sort of play these out in your head. Those examples that I mentioned earlier, you politely engage the person, you are sympathetic, I know you're really trying to help, but I think that the correct information is, and then offer the correct information and say, this came from LexVote, which is a nonpartisan, non-political voter education platform. Your vote really counts. I hope that you're going to make it to the polls. That type of thing where you're very polite, very sympathetic. Certainly we don't want any of our volunteers running out and accusing somebody of doing anything wrong. Now again, if you try to correct it and they just tell you get lost, don't care, then at that point it would be considered disinformation, and we flag it for us and let us know, and then just don't engage. The more that they are engaged, then the more likely the algorithm is to let other people see that disinformation. So pausing again here for a second in case there are any questions. All right, great. So some resources. The incident report form I already showed you. You can click on how to take a screenshot. All of these sorts of things, resources that you can use to help you monitor. Here again is the reporting form. This is the misinformation website that we will make sure is up to date every time. It may not be within minutes of you emailing us any misinformation, but certainly as soon as we get the correct information, we will update this website, and you can share this website with all of your friends as well. So we really appreciate your time. Elections are incredibly important. It's a great. Hopefully we can together keep misinformation out of Fayette County and make sure that the elections here count. have people make it as easy as possible for people to vote. So thanks everybody for joining. And if there's any questions, I'll stay on for about another minute or so in case there are any questions. If not, feel free. You can leave anytime. I'll email you a copy of this recording. And just again, as a reminder, that tomorrow night, which would be the 27th, I believe, is we have training for what happens if you see election intimidation or anything like that at the polls, and not just election intimidation, for anything. If somebody tells you the voting machine is broken or something like that, we are going to have some election helpers at the polls. And so if you'd like to be one of those election helpers, there's training tomorrow night for that as well. So thank you, everyone.